All right, folks, Oklahoma Supreme Court rejected the request from the last two survivors of the 1921 Tulsa Race Massacre to reconsider their decision to uphold the dismissal of the lawsuit. In June, the state's highest court ruled against 110-year-old Viola Fletcher and 109-year-old Lessie Benningfield Randle, upholding a decision by a Tulsa district court judge to dismiss the case. The survivors filed a public nuisance claim saying they, quote, continue to face racially disparate treatment and city-created barriers to basic human needs. The attorney and founder of Justice for Greenwood, Damario Solomon-Simmons, joins me right now. So, Damario, the question people are asking is this it? Is there anywhere else for y'all to go?
Yeah, thank you, Roland. Good to see you as always. Appreciate you. Listen, this is a very disappointing decision for the Supreme Court, Oklahoma Supreme Court, to deny this particular case. And that means after 4 years of litigation, this particular case is now over with. That is devastating news for the survivors. But the good news is that we do have other legal avenues, and we're going to continue to fight. The fight continues. And I can tell you, I can speak for 110-year-old Viola Fletcher and 109-year-old Lessie Benningfield Randle, that they said they're still going to continue to push because they still want to see justice in their lifetime.
As you were saying, that you have other options.
Yeah, this definitely is a disappointing decision for the Supreme Court to unjustly deny these two last living survivors an opportunity to court on this particular case. But they are resolute. They want to continue to fight, even at 110 and 109. We do have another legal pathway that we are exploring to make viable. And this is also, as you know, Roland, and many people that's been following this work, we've been calling on the Biden-Harris administration for 4 years, almost 4 years now, to open an investigation between the DOJ, Emmett Till Cold Case Act. We need them more than ever. So I need everyone that's listening today to contact the Biden-Harris administration, President Biden and AG Merrick Garland, and explain and ask that they open this investigation. More than ever, we need them to open this investigation with this disappointing news today. Explain
to folks the Emmett Till Cold Case Act. Because that was a bill that pursued by Senator Doug Jones.
Well, actually, the Emmett Till Civil Rights is actually the Civil Rights Cold Case Act. It was actually introduced in 2007. It was passed signed into law in 2008. It was reauthorized in 2016. And this particular law allows the Department of Justice to open a criminal investigation to civil rights crimes that occurred between 1920 and 1970. And the primary purpose of the act is not even convictions, Roland, but it's to investigate and to provide answers that have been long hidden by authorities that conducted or perpetrated these particular crimes. And so this is what we have here. The massacre happened in 1921. We still know about 10% about what actually happened. We still don't know all of the perpetrators. We still don't even know all the victims of the massacre. And we need the Department of Justice to open this investigation. Roland, do you know that the massacre is the largest crime scene in U.S. history, modern U.S. history, and has never been investigated by any level of government?
Now, go to my iPad. This is a part of the DOJ. So, is the pressure should be put on Merrick Garland, the Attorney General, because he's the AG. Right. He could actually tell the Civil Rights Division to launch this.
Yeah, absolutely. Merrick Garland is who we need to act here. When we've had several meetings with our good friend Kristen Clark, who is the Assistant Attorney General for Civil Rights. She's a friend of civil rights. I believe she's a supporter of Justice for Greenwood and these survivors, but it's not her call. We need the AG, Merrick Garland, to make the call to open this investigation. And again, Roland, we're not asking for them to do something special or extraordinary. We're asking them to utilize the law that is right there that they can actually use.
And again, folks, if you go to my iPad, it says in 2006, the FBI began its cold case initiative, a comprehensive effort to identify and investigate racially motivated murders committed decades ago. Pursuant to the initiative, the department, I mean the DOJ and the FBI are working together to address violations of criminal civil rights statutes resulting in death that occurred not later than December 31st, 1979. Toward that end, Each of the 56 FBI field offices searched their cold case files to identify incidents which might be ripe for investigation. Since February 2007, the FBI and the division have partnered with the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, Southern Poverty Law Center, and the National Urban League to identify additional cases for investigation and to solicit their help. I mean, certainly, this is certainly a case where murder took place.
Murders took place. We know of hundreds of murders that took place. In fact, we know over 3,000 people were disappeared. We don't know what happened to them. We just know that they were in Tulsa, living their lives on May 30th, 1921, and on May 31st and June 1st, 1921. No one ever heard from them again. And Roland, as you know, we actually met with the DOJ, the two survivors, Uncle Red, who's now deceased, and Mother Fletcher, his sister, back in May of 2023, over a year ago. We met with them. We talked with the DOJ. They said they were going to get back with us, and we're still waiting, and time is of the essence. We need Merrick Garland and the Department of Justice to act today. And so all of you could go to justiceforgreenwood.org, our website, justiceforgreenwood.org. We have a link there where you could sign in and send a note, a sign-out petition. We're going to be delivering those petitions and those signatures to the DOJ along with postcards from around this nation. We need them to act now.
My panel today, folks joining us right now, Dr. Ming-Young Guy, Associate Professor, Department of Family Medicine and Population Health, Virginia Commonwealth University, Dr. Greg Carr, Department of Afro-American Studies, Howard University. Ming-Young, your question first.
Yeah, I think one of the things that I wanted to ask you, and thank you for continuing on this work. This is incredibly important work, but I think it's important for the audience to know why is time of the essence? It sounds to me that the federal government is running out the clock, so to speak, because don't you have to have survivors of this massacre in order to have standing, or is that not the case? How does that come into play? Because these individuals are older, right? And is time of the essence simply because of the fact that they need to be existing in order to have standing? And so we have to get ourselves together and push now. Is that what it is?
Well, thank you for the question. Well, I get the time is of the essence for a few reasons. Number one, our client, Mother Fletcher, is 110 years old. Mother Randle, Lessie Benningfield Randle, is 109. She'd be 110 on November 10th. And so time is of the essence because just like every other of the thousands and thousands and thousands of individual black folks that suffered the massacre who died without any form of justice, we do not want that to happen to them. So that's number one. Number two, you think about for 103 years, we've been trying to get justice for what happened in Tulsa and what happened to our community collectively. Tulsa, the massacre is not just about what happened to the black people in Tulsa, but it's about how it destroyed our development as a people throughout this entire nation. Number three, time is of the essence because we do not know what's going to happen in November. We're all supporting the Vice President, Kamala Harris. She should win. She's the most qualified person to ever run for the presidency, in fact. But we don't know what's going to happen. We need the Biden-Harris administration to act now while they have the power to do so. And number four, time is of the essence because my clients have gone and done everything that's been asked about them over the last 103 years. Think about that. 103 years, and yet they continue to have the door shut in their face each and every time. So we need to get justice for them now, and this fight will continue, but we want them to see some form of justice.
Greg Carr.
Thank you, Roland. It's always good to see you, Brother Damario.
Yeah, Dr. Carr.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, Counselor. Looking at, and I would encourage everybody, in addition to going to sign to make sure that we get Merrick Garland off his behind and on this, to go to justice.gov and look at the list of the cold case closing memoranda here under the Civil Rights Division. It is literally a history book of violence against black people. Not just black people. I see Jim Reeb on that list, Schwerner, Goodman, and Cheney, of course, on that list. Of course, Emmett Till, so many others. And this is a follow-up to Dr. Guy's question on standing. It isn't necessary, even though we absolutely want these two elders to receive some form of justice before they, like we will all do, join the ancestors. But it isn't necessary for them to do that, isn't it? By my looking at through, I guess it's over 100 of these cases that are represented here on this website. By my looking through them, number one, this would be the longest in terms of the distance between when the event happened and now case that would have been opened by the Justice Department, right? And most of these folk of course, were executed by the state. They're individual cases, so none of them are alive. So is that a bar? I don't think it's a bar, is it? Oh, go please.
No, Dr. Carr, thank you. And I'm sorry I didn't answer the question from the professor. No, that is not a bar. We do not have to have an actual survivor to have standing underneath this particular act, the Immaterial Cold Case Act. And that's why this is so egregious. That this investigation has not already been opened up, because they have the ability, the authority, the jurisdiction to open the investigation. And one of the things that they stated to us early on was, well, we don't know if it's anyone that we can prosecute. Well, number one, you can prosecute the entities, the corporations, and the businesses that are still living and breathing that perpetrated the massacre, including the city of Tulsa. But more importantly than that, the act itself, and Roland read it, the purpose of the act, the primary purpose, is investigative and to provide answers and closure for answers that you cannot get any other way. And so it's egregious that this has not happened yet, but you're both right. We do not need standing. We just need a Department of Justice that is serious about racial justice and serious about providing some form of justice to our community, our collective community, because the attack on Tulsa was an attack on Black America.
Hi, I'm Isaac Hayes III, founder and CEO of Fanbase. Fanbase is a free to download, free to use, next generation social media platform that allows anyone to have followers and subscribers on the same page. Fanbase was built through investment dollars from equity crowdfunding from the Jobs Act. People just like you helped build Fanbase, and we're looking for more people to help build Fanbase. We are currently raising $17 million in a Regulation A crowdfund on Start Engine. We've already crossed $2.1 million, but we're looking to raise more capital from people just like you that deserve the opportunity to invest in early stage startups without having to be accredited investors. So right now, I'd like you to go to startengine.com/fanbase and invest. The minimum to invest is $399. That gets you 60 shares of stock in Fanbase right now, today. And then use Fanbase to connect with friends, grow your audience, and be you without limits.